Hello, all you lovely people. It's Professor Malad here with another weekly overview. This week, we are rolling into week 10. This week, we'll be learning a little bit more about argumentative writing. When you are answering the question, does technology make us happy? You're choosing a side, yes or no. This is what we do with each argument, using sound reasoning and evidence to support our position. You'll also be learning about how to properly cite sources in your writing so that you aren't plagiarizing from others. It is vital that you watch the Attribution of Sources lecture so you understand how to integrate source material with your own writing. This lecture covers things like quotes, paraphrases, and summaries, as well as some MLA citation. There is also a Canvas page I have written up that includes a list of resources and videos that explain the details of the MLA Works Cited page. I will cover these materials briefly in the weekly overview video. Remember that this is just an introduction to argumentative writing using research. I don't expect you to get it perfect. Once you reach English 1001, you will be doing more of this type of writing. So it's good to have some sort of foundation for research and argumentation prior to that course. So the weekly objectives that we have here are you're going to take a position on the question of technology and happiness, implement correct MLA citation and formatting, make use of a style guide as reference for formatting and mechanics, and compose a rough draft of the research argument essay. The style guide here, I'm going to open up the link for you so you see what it looks like. It actually takes you to the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or we shorten that to Purdue OWL. And this takes you to their kind of catch-all web page that has information on general writing, as well as style, writing process, everything about academic writing that you could care to know, common writing assignments, mechanics, grammar, and punctuation. These are the three that will probably come in the most handy as you keep going through the English series of classes. Visual rhetoric, things like undergraduate applications, grad school applications, personal correspondence, community engaged writing, as well as their media file index. So they have an index for videos, PowerPoints, sample papers, and other types of sample documents that might be of interest to you. So this is a handy website that you should probably bookmark because it will be a very useful resource in the future. For this week's reading, our grammar topic, which will relate to the grammar quiz that you take later on in the week, is dealing with parallelism. Hopefully, this Grammarly page will open up once again. So, parallelism in grammar is just like parallel lines in geometry, right? Lines that go up and down, they never intersect, right? But in grammar, it's less about meaning and more about balance, as it says here on the Grammarly page. So it's defined as two or more phrases or clauses that are used in a sentence that have the same grammatical structure. So you read further on in this page, it tells you how to create parallelism, how to recognize it, some of the common mistakes, as well as several examples, right? They have some examples where it's incorrect, and then they provide some correct examples as well. So that is a really good page to read. There is another one talking about parallelism with not only, but also. That might be something familiar to those of you who have taken English classes in high school more recently. For those of you who are far removed from English classes, high school English classes, this might seem really new to you, but it's also a very good way to go about improving your writing. In the writer's practice, I want you to take a look at the section called Using Sources on pages 148 to 150 in the PDF that will relate to what you are working with this week as you begin to work on your rough draft. I have 2 Canvas pages as well. The first one is on argumentative writing. And this is actually where I put down my notes after watching the 2 crash course videos that I would like you to watch this week. They're also embedded in this page, and underneath each are the main points that I want you to come away with after watching these videos. So make sure that you read through the notes either along with the videos as you're watching them or after you have watched the video. There is also a short tutorial below that is the features of effective arguments, making sure that you take a position, provide support for the position, provide necessary background information so that your readers have context, right? And respond to the opposing arguments. You might remember from an assignment a couple of weeks ago, I think it was week 8, one of the assignments was asking you a question about the yeah, but response to when you were evaluating an argument on one of the articles. So that is really how you respond to opposing arguments, thinking up the quote unquote yeah, but, right? So take a look at that information. And again, I also have a Canvas page on Works Cited. This is kind of a receptacle of a variety of resources that will come in handy when you start working with citation. Some of these you may want to bookmark for future reference once you get to English 1001, so you know how to find this stuff. So there are 2 resources. Again, I refer to the Purdue OWL Works Cited page that I linked a couple of weeks ago, as well as the link to Citation Machine. And then I have a few tutorials that are related to the Works Cited page. This one is using a citation generator. So Citation Machine is a citation generator. And what that means is it's actually a tool that will help create the correct citations in MLA format. So if you watch this video, you'll actually understand how to use the Citation Machine generator in order to help create the citations for your Works Cited page. The other one here is a video on MLA citation. This one is pretty short. And then I have, of course, the MLA formatting tips if you need to refer to those again, if you're struggling with how to format your paper in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, I have a video for each one of those platforms. Citation Machine, as it's written here, it's very easy to use. The one drawback to using any kind of citation generator is that you need to use the editing function sometimes to make sure that you provide information that is accurate and up to date. You should, most of the time, citation generators get the information correct, but sometimes you have to go back in. Depending, especially when you're dealing with electronic sources, sometimes it will pull the coding out of the HTML source code and get things a little bit garbled. So you need to go back in, make sure that it looks correct and that you have the right elements so that you have a correct citation. You should also be sure that you choose MLA 9 as the format for your citations. And I'll go into Citation Machine in a sec so you can see that. You just simply plug in the URL for the web page that you're citing from, and then make sure that you're double checking that the information is correct, which you can usually do by accessing the website that you've plugged into the Citation Machine. So I'm going to open up Citation Machine. This link that I have actually opens up right in for MLA. One of the drawbacks for this is there tends to be a lot of pop-up ads. You can spend a little bit money to get rid of those pop-up ads, but in my experience, and I use this a lot, in my experience, it's not worth the monthly fee to get rid of the pop-ups. You just sit through it and deal with it, right? So here we're primarily going to be using websites, and you would just plug in the URL, click search, and then it will pull up the correct thing, hopefully for you. So let's do Purdue OWL. And I go over this in greater detail in the video that I've done for it. But if we copy and paste that URL into the search bar, click search, and it comes up with this, and then you just click cite. Again, as I said, I walk you through the steps in that tutorial video, so I'm not going to do it in great detail here, but I just wanted to give you a little taste of what it's like. Also, I do want to make note that the 4 articles that were assigned reading in weeks 8 and 9, I've already done the correct MLA citations in the supplemental sources handout from week 8. You know, that document that links all the various resources that I'd like you to pull from. So the main articles, those 4 articles that I assigned as reading, those are already cited correctly. So all you have to do is copy and paste those into your Works Cited page. The other resources, however, you will need to have correct citations. So don't copy and paste what you see there in that document because it's not done correctly. Instead, you take those websites, plug it into Citation Machine, follow the directions that I give you in that citation generator tutorial video, and you should be good to go. Remember also that some electronic sources may not have a named author, and that is completely acceptable. What I don't want you to do, don't put the name of the publisher as the author's name. Instead, we resort to just using the title of the web page in quotes as that first element for citation. Again, this will make more sense as you go through and you watch the videos that explain MLA citation in more depth. There's also the MLA Works Cited, a quick guide from the Modern Language Association website. This webpage can also be a helpful resource. You'll find a lot of examples on how those core elements of a Works Cited entry come together to create what we call the MLA citation. And then you have the opportunity to create your own citation at the end if you want to work with their interactive practice template. Down here at the bottom, there are a few reminders as far as the MLA Works Cited page. The Works Cited page, as I mentioned before in my video on the rough draft, and on the assignment itself, the Works Cited page is a separate page. We don't include that in the overall page count. Why? I have no idea. It's just how we do things. Sometimes English doesn't make sense, right? So the Works Cited page is a separate page of the academic essay. You begin it on a new page, and it's formatted with the same font, the same kind of spacing, and the same margins that you've used for the rest of your essay. There are several things I want you to keep in mind. One, the Works Cited page starts with a title that's centered at the top of the page. The entries are listed by author's last name, first name, or the title, depending on your source. The entries are listed in alphabetical order, regardless of whether it is by author's last name or title. If you use Citation Machine to generate all of your citations, it's going to do that for you automatically. And all you have to do is copy that information into your document. Don't alphabetize by articles, that is grammar parts of speech, right? The articles and titles, a, an, or the, but instead by the first primary word in the title. So when you're alphabetizing, just pretend there isn't an A or an "an" or the, right? And then format each entry with a hanging indent. Again, these videos, this one up here, I think, and perhaps some formatting tips, explains the hanging indent. It just looks a certain way so that the information is more easily read by the reader. Wow, so that's the Works Cited page on Canvas. As far as things for you to watch this week, it is really super important that you watch the essay number 3, Research Argument Assignment Explanation. This explains the assignment. It's a 12-minute video. I have the YouTube link here, but it's also embedded on the assignment page, and I'll show you that in a moment when I talk about the assignment. There's also a lecture that I want you to watch. It's called Attribution of Sources, and this is the lecture that explains how you use quotes, how you can paraphrase, how you can summarize, and make sure that you're giving the correct attribution or the proper credit to the person who originally wrote the information that you're borrowing in your writing. Again, I don't expect you all to get it perfectly at the first go. It's a rough draft. This is the first time you've been implementing information from other sources. It's a whole new ball of wax, right? Don't get intimidated by it. I will help you, and I'm not going to be a harsh grader because this is something that you're learning. It's a new skill that you're learning. Again, I've also included the YouTube links for the videos that are embedded in the Argumentative Writing Canvas page. I'm just include them here as well so that you know those are things that you should be watching. So grammar quiz number 10 is on parallelism. We have a discussion board, number 8. This one is dealing with part of your works cited. So for this assignment, and this one might seem a little bit annoying, I want you to select one citation from your works cited list. So you have, should have chosen an article that you want to deal with and provide a brief annotation as explained below. So you may have done some of this work already. If you, in the previous discussion board, or I'm sorry, not the discussion board, the worksheet of the source evaluation or analyzing the argument, if you want to use some of that information in this annotation, that is perfectly fine. So this is something I'm experimenting with my prep students to see if it's feasible or if it completely confuses the heck out of you. So I hope that it goes well, but if it's too confusing, I don't want you to freak out about it. I'm not going to grade you off because you didn't highlight in the correct color or something like that, or you don't know how to use the highlighting. Just try your best. So in English 1001, when you reach the part of the class where you're doing a research project, you are likely, and this goes for other classes as well, where you are writing research papers, it is very likely that you will be asked to write what's called an annotated bibliography. So an annotation is simply a summary of what the article is all about, right? So you've learned how to summarize the argument. You've also evaluated a source. So you pretty much have already done that work. Now we're going to format it in a different way. So the annotation, it contains 2 parts. You provide a properly formatted MLA citation, and that's this part in pink. This is what an MLA citation looks like. Author's last name, first name, the title of the article, the publication it's in, all of that publication information, the pages where it might appear, the database where it may have been, and then the URL. all information that will be generated by citation machine, right? And then the second part is you provide a properly formatted MLA citation. It's just a paragraph that includes a lead sentence talking about the title, the author, the publication, and a summary of the author's purpose, what their argument might be, or no, the purpose of the writing. You can include a quote that you think you might use in your paper if you want to, and then how that source will be used in your argument. Is it something that supports your argument? Is it something that shows the other side of the argument? How do you think you're going to use that source in your paper? So again, just try the best that you can. Let me open up the reply here so I can actually show you where to find the tools in the discussion board. So you see this ribbon up here. It has a whole bunch of tools. When you go and you type your response, this is my response, you can then choose this here. This is the highlighting tool, and choose the correct color. So we do that and we click on it, it automatically highlights for you. And if you've got the wrong color, you just drag your mouse over and choose the correct color. And if you're like, oh, I didn't want to highlight all of that text, this red line here turns off the highlighting. Simple as that. I'm just asking you to highlight in the different colors, okay? So hopefully that's straightforward. If not, as I said, don't panic. You can send me an email and ask for clarification if you need it. Hopefully you won't need it. Hopefully my explanation has been okay. The initial post will be due Sunday, July 16th, and then respond to 2 peers by Wednesday, July 19th. You can comment on their chosen source. If you think it's a really cool source and you might want to use it, go ahead and let them know, hey, where did you find this? I think it's really interesting. I'm thinking about using it for my paper as well. If there's anything that's flawed with it, you might want to call attention to them so that they can fix, let's say that their citation isn't quite correct. They left out the author's name, or perhaps they left out one of these elements where they forgot to include a hyperlink or the URL. Let them know that, and then they can go back and fix things so that they have the citation correct for their Works Cited page. So that's the discussion board. Then the last is essay number 3, the rough draft, which is due Sunday the 16th. I'm going to open that page and you will see that I have this embedded video. It's 12.5 minutes long, so it's not super long, but I wanted to make sure that you absolutely understood what is required of you for this research essay rough draft. So please, before you start writing, make sure that you watch the video, make sure that you understand what's required of you, what the objectives are that you are supposed to meet. I go over all of this in great detail here, so I'm not going to go over it, but just hit the highlights here. You will answer the question, does technology make us happy? Yes or no. You will then choose one of the following articles, one of those 4 articles that I assigned as reading in weeks 8 and 9, and use 3 other supplementary sources from the research handout. If you find connections between any of these and you think you can weave them together, you're free to use any of the other ones here, but I want you to use at least one from the supplementary research handout to help you support your argument. So you can use one or more of them as a source of these as a source if it helps you support your argument. So it will be a total of 4 sources. 1 of these assigned and then 3 others. I'm not asking you to do outside research. We're not going to use the library search engine to find sources. I don't want you to go to Google and start Googling things. I want you to use the ones that I have pre-selected for you because I have more or less vetted that information. It's quality information and credible information. So you don't have to go and evaluate and say, okay, is this an appropriate source or is it total crap, right? The essay will be 4 to 6 pages. See how we've incrementally gotten a little bit longer with each of these essays, roughly 1,000 to 1,500 words, correct MLA formatting, plus you have that separate works cited page at the end with 4 sources. Keep in mind that even though the rough draft is not worth any points, I do mark them complete or incomplete, and I do give extensive feedback when it's needed. A completed draft must be submitted in order to do the graded peer review essay number 3 assignment that will be due the following week. So please don't drag your heels on getting the draft done. Even if it isn't a full 4 to 6 pages, that's fine. At least get something in so that you can get some feedback and some guidance on how to move forward. Here at the bottom of the page, I have the formatting information as well as information on the works cited page, what it should look like, and a sample works cited page. I'll actually open that one up. But see here again, works cited at the top in the center, and then we have this hanging indent, and it's in alphabetical order. Okay, and see here we have a title that starts with the article "an." We just pretend that doesn't exist, even though we type it in there, and we have "I" coming after "H." Okay, so hopefully that's all pretty straightforward information. If you have any questions, please let me know, email me or text me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Remember, the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you all write in your rough drafts. I'm really excited about this assignment, and I hope you are at least a little bit excited about it as well. I find that the technology and happiness thread, that it really seems to be relevant to students today. So good luck with your writing, and I look forward to reading your submissions. Take care, everybody, and have a great week. Bye-bye.